Before you begin any estimate, there are several things that you want to consider. One of the first things is that we get questions about all the time is, what type of job do I need to pick? How can I pick the right type of job? Well, there are several steps in choosing the right type of project. The first thing that you really want to consider is you want to consider whether or not you have the best chance of winning. If you don't think you have a good chance of winning the project, you really want to probably not bid that project. You don't want to waste your time and energy on it. The next thing that you want to really consider is whether or not that project is going to be profitable. It doesn't make very much sense if you think you're not going to make very much profit on that project, whether or not you want to actually bid it. Some of the things when you're tracking a project, you want to find out where you actually placed at, whether you were high, whether you were low, where your bid actually came compared to the other contractors. Some of the other type of things that you want to track is what type of project it was. Was it residential, commercial, industrial? These kind of things are very, very important. You also want to figure out what type of ranges are good for you. If you're bidding all $100,000 jobs and you're losing them all, and all of a sudden you're winning the jobs that are $200,000, $300,000, or even $1 million, well, maybe those are the kind of jobs that you really want to go after. When you're tracking your bids, you're also wanting to look at your bid-win ratio, whether you're a 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. Most contractors right now that we're seeing across the country, they're experiencing between 1 out of 20 to 1 out of 30, which is really, it's not bad, but you really want to try to get those numbers up, because what that usually means is when you're bidding that many projects, you're probably bidding too many. You're not being as selective as what you should be. Some of the other things that you want to determine is the size of the project to go after. The best chances of winning those sizes are very, very important. Do a little research on the project by calling the owner, finding out if they're accepting bids for your type of trade. Call the general contractors. What you want to do is you want to track down a bidders list by calling the architect. You want to find out who's all bidding that project, so by the time you're done preparing your estimate, you want to make sure you're submitting that estimate into all the people that are actually bidding that project. It doesn't make much sense. I mean, if you have 10 general contractors out there bidding and you're only putting it in one contractor's hand, the chance of you actually winning has seriously decreased. So you really want to get those, your bid in front of all those general contractors. Then also what you want to do is you want to ask all these GCs, call them all up, ask them if they're accepting bids from your trade type, ask to be added to their bidders list. This will help you when any addendums or anything like that comes out or changes to that project. Make sure that they notify you, because the last thing you want to be doing is spending all your time and finding out on bid day you don't have the correct blueprints or plans or any of the addendums included in your bid because there was changes made and you weren't notified. Ask the contractors that you're bidding to if you actually have a chance of winning this job if you submit them the low number. Find out if they have maybe a favorite or someone that there's going to maybe price shop your number to. The chances are there are some contractors out there that play that type of game, and you really don't want to be wasting your time preparing an estimate when they're going to just take your number and give it to someone else to use. Be polite, but ask. You'd be very surprised to find out how many people will actually tell you that they actually have a favorite contractor they're willing to go with. When you get that type of response, you pretty much want to use your gut feeling, and just maybe it's telling you not to bid this project. Trust your instincts. If you think they will shop your number and you don't have a chance, then please don't waste your time. Find out whether the project is union or non-union or prevailing wage. If you're a union contractor, maybe bidding against a non-union shop is not a good idea. You might have to bid only union-only projects. If your costs are too high, you might have to ask for recovery money from the union hall or targeted funds towards that project that you're bidding. Also, job costing is a major factor here. You don't want to sit there and be bidding on projects that after you're done job costing a certain type of project, let's just say it's a school, and you end up losing money on that type of a project. Maybe the next project you don't actually want to bid on any more schools, because yeah, you might have won the bid, but what's the point unless you can actually turn a profit? It doesn't make much sense to be bidding these jobs, winning them and doing them and spending all your time doing it. I'd rather tell you to go sit on the beach for the next year, at least enjoy yourself while you're going broke. Why work all year for nothing? It doesn't make much sense. Also, job costing will help you determine this when you analyze that data. When you analyze it, will help you determine what types of projects are best suited for you. The next thing that you want to do is you want to determine the risk of the project. Projects that are heavy in labor and light on material are higher risk projects. If the risk is too high, then maybe rethink on bidding that project. Also, take time to visit the projects, visiting a job site if possible, and try to look for problem areas on that job. That type of information is vital when you're out there trying to submit these bids, because it might give you an advantage towards bidding that project, and when you're estimating it, you might see things that other contractors might not get if they don't actually visit the project. You also want to figure out how many other contractors might be bidding this project with you. If there's going to be a whole bunch of other contractors out there bidding, your percentage of chance of winning that job definitely drops. So you really want to make that consideration on whether or not this is actually the right type of job. Also, what you want to do is you want to figure out how much resources you have, whether you have the finances and the manpower to actually do a project. Now, we usually tell people don't take so much consideration on the manpower, especially with the way that economy is right now. You can usually find the help that you need when you award a project. Time and complexity. You really want to determine whether or not you have enough time to estimate the job that you're about to take on. If you don't have enough time, chances are you're probably going to rush through that project, and if you rush, you're going to be making mistakes. If you make mistakes, there you go. You will probably end up with that bid, but at the end, you're not going to be very happy because you're not going to make any money. So really consider whether or not you have the time. Also, the complexity of the project. If you're dealing with a job that you have no business spending the time bidding because you really don't know how to bid it, maybe it's time to either hire someone that knows how to do it, or watch our videos a little bit longer here, or maybe hire some outside help.